We welcome Stella Dupuis to Yogini Dakini in Conversation with, who is a project to meet all women around the world who are working and research about Yogini and Dakini. So I'm very happy that you are part of my project, and this is a special interview for me that will reveal the reason at the end of our conversation. So first I will introduce you, and you are a Swiss novelist, and you are from Panama, but you are teaching yoga and meditation all around the world since many years. And you lived in India for 12 years, during while you went very close to Yogini, even if your journey with the Yogini starts very soon in your life, but still you are a fan of India, as you are coming to India each year for many months, and still an inexhaustible traveler. So you are also the author of many books. Temples of India is one of these books. And you translated also one of the most important books about the Yogini, the Kalanana Nirnaya, a very difficult name for to say, but he's a book about an esoteric tradition of the Yogini and about one Matsyendranath Guru. And then you have also co-created an artwork on which we will speak later. So thank you to be here to this part of this project. So Stella, can you tell us when and why you met Yogini in your life?
My encounter with the Yoginis is very similar to your encounter with the Yoginis. It has to do with the Hirapur temple, the same temple that you became fascinated. So we also have a link there. And it was when I used to go very often to Bhubaneswar since many, many years. In 2005, I met this Yogini temple, and I fell in love, as you fell in love with the Yogini temple, because it's such an amazing, delicate, beautiful, powerful place. And I have seen the dance you do in that place, that I understand that to dance there is what one will like to do. I couldn't understand what it was, this idea of Yoginis. I have been a yoga teacher since many, many years, and I thought that maybe it was related. Why that name, first of all? And then I wanted to look, but it was very difficult coming from zero, because I am not a scholar, I knew nothing, I am not a historian, I come from the business background, and then to be embedded in this Yogini knowledge was amazing, was a beautiful start. So I went to all the universities, I met people, I started to interview, I started to read, and it was a long, long way to understand a little bit why these Yoginis. And one of my ways of learning is not only reading, is also feeling, experiencing the place. So one of the first things that I started to do, it was to go all over the temples and to visit, to feel, to look to the sculptures, to be fascinated with the sculptures, and then the rest started to come.
I know that you have a very nice story about when you reached Hirapur temple.
Yogini temples and the Yoginis are also related with some kind of magic, some kind of energy that goes beyond our understanding. So when I was there the first time, I was looking all these beautiful, amazing Yoginis that were all around us, and suddenly I just felt there and started sit there and start to meditate, and I was gone. I was just in another space. And during probably long time, when suddenly I heard from far away my friend that was with me saying, "Stella, come, we need to go." And then I opened the eyes and I felt like a breeze around me, and they were but a lot of dragonflies all around me, and the sun was going down, and these dragonflies, they looked like filigree, and it was like gold dragonflies. So, oh my God, I felt fascinated with that, and I was not finding words to put on that. But then when I was interviewing this very knowledgeable person to know, to understand, because one thing is to feel and another thing is also my mind that wants to do like a puzzle and understand. So it's like a game. And I met one lady that is the Vangana Desai. She published a wonderful book that is the erotic sculptures in India. And for a woman in India that is such a traditional society, this person, I wanted really to meet her. So I went to Mumbai to meet her. And when I was talking to her, I shared my passion with the Yoginis. I told the story of the dragonflies, and then she told me, Stella, you need to know that the Yoginis, sometime in the legends, they come in the form of insects. So for me, that was, oh my God, that is the Yoginis. And from that day on, every time I saw dragonflies, I knew that it was something positive. And I pay so much attention to the dragonflies, and I talk to them, that they come very often to my hand, and they stay, and we look to each other. So it has become a magic relation with the dragonflies.
And what about the Kalaya Nirnaya, the book that you translated? It's a very important book. And it was like a discovery for you, because you didn't know nothing about this text, and then you became so passionate, dedicate many years to translate it.
I was going to all the libraries in India, and it was one library that was in Gurgaon, that is the American Society for Indian Studies, something like that, and that was the guy that was in charge was very helpful. So he helped me, because in the others it was very difficult to find the books related to the Yoginis. So this guy helped me, and in one of the books it was some articles that were written, and he told me, here it says that it's about Yoginis. So it was one scholar that wrote an article, and he was mentioning that it was a book that the name was Kaulayana Nirnaya, that was found in the library of the king of Nepal in the beginning of the 20th century. So I wrote that thing, and the name, and Matsyendra Nath, that seems to have related to the Yoginis. And with those information, I went to Nepal, and I went to find the book without knowing what I was going to do with that. But I finally found a place, because I was not knowing where it could be. It was no anymore king in Nepal. Of course, it was not anymore the library of the king. So I was not knowing where to start. And a friend of mine that I told him that I was going, I wrote a mail, he told me to write to Köln, to Germany, and the university there, some guy told me, it's a center that takes care of the manuscript, that is a society with the Nepalese government to take care of manuscript. They could help you, because they record where are all the manuscripts in Nepal. I went to that place, and yes, they have all the information about where are all the manuscripts. And then I say Kaulayana Nirnaya of Matsyendra Nath, and nothing. They were looking all over and they couldn't find. So they told me, no, unfortunately, we don't know, it's not appearing in the computer. We went to the cartotheque manually, nothing. And suddenly, me, without knowing anything, I said, maybe it's wrong classified and is among the Buddhist texts. How I say that, no idea. But what was amazing that it was wrong classified, and it was among the Buddhist texts. So they gave me the reference where it was in the center of manuscripts in Kathmandu. So I went with that reference, which stand, which place, so that they could find. And when I went there next day and asked for that book, they told me, we didn't know that existed. We thought that we have lost because we couldn't find. Many scholars have come here to find this manuscript and nobody could find it. And you are very lucky. And then they allowed me to take pictures of it's written in palm leaves, in the leaves from a palm. And they scratch and then they put ink. Is the way that they used to do the books, very ancient. So it's like that. There are leaves like that long. And they found the book, they gave to me, and they allowed me to take pictures. But, it's amazing how they are sometimes not so careful. They gave me like that, and then I say, where I take the pictures? I was looking for a table or something, and they showed me the ground, to do it on the floor, on the ground. And I was thinking, my God, this is a more than 10th century ancient script I am going to put on the ground. So at the end, I remember I was having my poncho, and I put the poncho over a little wall, and I did it there and every time I was touching, and it was for me, imagine how these hands have read this knowledge, how many centuries have gone through. So for me, it was a treasure, and I fell in love with that. And then the magic doesn't stop there. I went with my pictures to Delhi. I went back to Delhi, and I in that moment, I knew some letters, but I was not knowing any Sanskrit. I decided to make it big, the big copies. In those days, it was a paper print. It was not yet, it started to be the digital, but not so much. So I printed this picture that I took in big thing. And in order to see at least something, and that day that I pick up in Car Market, I pick up my pictures, and I was having in my bag, and I was not knowing what to do. In that moment, I received the phone call of a friend telling me, as you like manuscripts, you can go. I have a friend in the Center of Manuscript in Delhi. Go and ask her, you can meet her. So all these social things in Delhi, I was not keen. But as my friend did this connection, I thought that I will go. She received me, and I wanted to know at least which kind of script, because in Nepal, they told me that they didn't know exactly the script. There's Devanagari, but every century they were having different way of writing. The phonetic was Sanskrit, but the characters were slightly different. So I wanted to know which year or what it was. I wanted to have some facts. And I asked this lady, and she told me, no, I am administrative. I know nothing about that. So, but she told me, it's one old gentleman that come here to help us. He's a genius. And sometimes Pandit Mukhopadhyay is there. So I went to see this gentleman that was a Brahmin like that, with his shawl, white shawl, very tall, elegant man. And then I was saying, the Yogini there, Nepal, blah, blah, all these things. And he was saying, no interest in me at all. He thought that I was too wild for him. And then suddenly I took out the pictures of the manuscript, and I took from my bag and showed him and say, which kind of script is that? In that moment, he got interested. His eyes went like that. And from that moment, we started to work during almost 9 years with him. He tried to teach me a little bit of Sanskrit, the grammar, the beauty, while we were translating. And it was very good, because every translator brings their own baggage. And he is a Brahmin, and I am more a practitioner, more a wild creature. And this combination of the two was very appropriate for this translation, because sometimes he comes with some words, and I was saying, is not another synonym, tell me, and we were going deeper, because I knew more the essence of the knowledge, and like that it was not a Sanskritized, Brahmanized translation, but more more human.
I mean, without your help, maybe this manuscript still was lying somewhere in Nepal. And I think that this is one of the mission of the Yogini, also of the contemporary Yogini, is to bring back some teachers who are part of the past, and maybe in some way, so through the historical event, they are really in somewhere. So I think this is the moment for the Yogini to come back. I remember that there was one exhibition in the museum when you and Sima Kohli also participated, and the title of that event was "The Return of the Yogini," right? So, and when I read this, and I was in that moment in the process of my work, I really felt that title. Yes, the return of the Yogini. The Yogini are again back. They are choosing many paths to reach the people all over the world.
And I think that persons like you, or persons like me, or all the people, Sima Kohli, that is an amazing artist, and so many scholars also, all of us, we are just instruments to bring this back to the others. And it's true that for me, it was a fascination, and the first book that I did, this Yogini Temples of India, was my first contribution, how to go to the temples. Now, this book, it was published in 2008, so it's a little bit out of date. I have been doing things in Academia Edu, putting up to date the information. But I did this, and I did this in Spanish, the same in Spanish, and also was magic, because when you want to publish, you go to the publishers and you say, please, here is my manuscript. It's not easy. It's not easy to find people that like your work. For this book, I passed by Varanasi, and so I read that in Varanasi, it was a bookshop that knew a lot, that has a lot of spirituality. So I wanted to buy books. So I went to this pilgrim bookshop, and I was buying a lot of books about Tantra, was this. It was really a moment of, I thought that shop was magic. And the guy, the salesperson, told me, that many of the books you are buying are from a writer, from a scholar that lives in Varanasi. And I said, oh, yes. And he told me, if you go to the editor, that his office is downstairs, he can give you his phone and you can meet him. And I felt, oh my God, this is amazing. So I went down to have his information, all these books here. All this, it's amazing. It's amazing how all his books. So I went and I was talking with this editor. I told my story, and that I was going to all the temples that I could know in India, all the information that I was gathering, but I wanted to be in the places. So he told me, and do you take notes? And I said, yes, of course. And he told me, I would like to publish. And I say, but they are in Spanish and my English is not so good. He said, no problem, we help you. I couldn't believe that they were proposing me to write that book. And so I did also in Spanish. And in that same house of edition, I published this other. Here I use fiction to talk about the Yoginis. It's a very crazy novel. And meanwhile, it was when I was working, the Kaulayana Nirnaya that you were talking, so it's here, that I translated into Spanish. And just now, it came in French.
One that you did last year with other two scholars and one artist, Sima.
And there I talk about the omnipresence of the Yoginis, and I talk about your oracle, because it's such a beautiful contribution to
I was very happy to be in this book with you all.
I wanted to give credit to all the persons who come from other horizons. You are a dancer. So a dancer that feel all this energy. So this is one of the temples, and this magic that I'm telling you is in these places. All the Yogini temples in the beginning, also the Hirapur, they were located in a little bit far away. and very silent place, and near the water also, all around this rock, because it's a big rock, is water. And you see here is here you have the yoginis dancing. I wanted to show that because you are a dancer. And the yoginis have also a lot of legends of dancing, of this energy of victory. And Bhairava is there in the middle, also dancing. And here we have, I love the idea of animal faces in the yoginis. Many have animal faces. And here they are dancing and doing mudras as you do. And here the animal faces yoginis, I love. You must have amazing pictures of dancing there. And here we have some of the animal faces yoginis of Hirapur. They are so beautiful. And you did it so amazing in your drawings, the intuition that is there. And here we have, this one is in Mitauli. You see all are open to the sky and mostly round. Here inside you see the niches and the center altar. And here is the one in Veraga. Sculptures are almost human size. It's so powerful, so beautiful. One can see that this was among the latest temples because the sculptures are very work. When they are very work, is later. It's like 11th century. And the river is there, the Narmada River. The energy of all these places is so, so powerful and magic. This is Shadol. This is another temple in that area also. That probably was the last temple. And because you see the slab, the stone is work. That was the fashion in that time. Like that, you feel this atmosphere, you feel this, why we get enamorous. There are like three sorts of yoginis that you can find. There are those who are shanti looking, peaceful and blessing, and those are very easy to understand because they are beautiful and one can feel their blessing. But there are those that are ogre-like, and those are
very fierce, yes,
fear looking, and also looking, and those probably they are talking about how to kill our own demons. It means the demons are not outside also. The demons are inside, like anger, laziness, sadness, all these envies, all these emotions can be very disturbing, and you need to address them. And it's not to address saying, no, you need to do things.
You need someone with the swords and a knife and and also the face very first. Yes.
To act. You cannot say, no. You need to act according to the emotions that you have. And in yoga and in different things, you have ways to handle that. And then there are the animal faces that they are my favorites. And for me, those are the intuition. Those are related with the intuition of the animal that sometimes we have lost. I tell very often that story that when it was the tsunami in the Andaman Islands, in some islands in India, the wild animals, before the tsunami came, they went up to the mountain while the persons were saying, oh my God, the water went out. Oh my God, so bizarre. And the mind was there instead to have your instinct, your survival instinct to go. All the animals, the wild animals, they were safe because they went up to the hill, while the persons were not. So we see that sometimes our instinct of survival, how the elephant, how the cat, how this, how that. So the animals have that instinct more alive. And sometimes we need to remove our mental head, our ego head, and put the head of an animal and let the intuition talk.
Is that sure that the yogini are intuition, are and gives to practitioners this kind of intuition too. I share this because now coming to our last part, who is the one who is really we share very deeply, this the Yoginis Oracle. How was possible to do, and what is the Yoginis Oracle? It's just then intuition. And I like to tell the story that because the Yoginis Oracle is the reason why we met. And we met in a very deep way without knowing each other. And for me, it's an incredible story that I always tell, that because when I decided to redraw, to reconstruct again the Irapur temple, I was just alone in my room in Bhubaneswar, and I decided to write a book on the Yogini, just because Yogini and female and dance were the things who are very dear to me. And like a light man, no? Like something very suddenly, an inspiration came to me and say, okay, just not only write a book, but also you can redraw each sculpture and you can do an oracle. And I don't know, I mean, it's, I have thought a lot of times about this story, but always it's very strange for me that when this art inspiration came to me, I just say, yes, of course, I will draw again each Yogini, why not? And why? I am a dancer and I'm not a... But then I followed that idea. I could not follow. I mean, it was just a calling. So I started doing my work, but alone. No one knew about this. And then one series of circumstances, I met Sima Kohli in Delhi. And then while we were talking, we just met because I liked one of her pictures, and she was very curious about one of my dance, Matrika, that I performed in Istituto Italiano di Cultura here in Delhi. So this was the reason why we met. And we just start talking, but I didn't say nothing about this Yoginis Oracle that I was drawing, because it was just really still a very secret for me. And while I was talking with her, she told me, you know, there is also my friend, Stella Dupuis, and now she's going to publish a Yoginis Oracle. And I was like, what is this? There is someone who is already working on this. And I think it was, so I continued to do my work in a very silent, long way. And it was very nice when I published and you published the work, that we gifted each other's of our artwork, as only the Yogini can do, in a sisterhood feeling. And it was amazing that for me, another lady very far from my place, that never met, really don't know nothing about each other. Yogini called both of us, me and you. And this is and I'm very happy. It's not easy now to meet someone who's still doing the same work we are doing. But I think that because Yogini, I think know how to choose the right women. I'm very happy that in this I met you, and really this kind of Yogini sisterhood is really linked us very strong.
But I will say also that is beautiful, and that is also the Yoginis, that we folk through different perspectives. You with all the sensibility of a dancer, of the knowing of the energies, and me it was also like I am just an imaginative person, but I wanted to share. Yeah, I have been yoga and meditation teacher. You see my hair, so for 50 years is a lot. So it was to put a little bit in an easy way the knowledge of the Kaulayana Nirnaya, of this tough book, because it's quite difficult. This Kaulayana Nirnaya here is very esoteric and difficult to understand. So I wanted to put in more playful manner, in some more accessible way. So both of us, we are foking this beautiful knowledge, but from different angles, and that is. But this is
also that really Yogini are intuition. Really Yogini are the shamanic path to awaken the female energy within us. And sometimes men ask me, but it is an oracle just for a female. They say, no, this is not, because the Shakti is something, is the primordial energy who lives within us. So I like when also men.
Matsyendranath, and if you see, he has inside all the Yoginis. So this is going to be the back side of the oracle that this is being translated in French. Now the French are very keen on my work. So instead of having the fish here in the cards, instead of having the fish, it's going to be that image of Matsyendranath.
Very beautiful image.
So that, and it was, they asked me if I was not having something that will include men. So I said, yeah, I have this guru with all the energies inside, because the Yogini energy is in men or women, it doesn't matter. All of us, we have this vibrant energy inside.
Shakti energy. And in any case, in each Yogini temple, there is also a Shiv Bhairav. So Yogini temples are a union about Shiva and Shakti, so male and female. And we say the Bhairav, the Shiva, is always the stable energy, the energy which gives the possibility the Shakti to express herself. So we cannot have Shiva without Shakti, and so it's not like, is it just because the energy, the Shakti, primordial energy of life is expressed in the female form. So I think that we can end our conversation, pick up one card from the deck. Maybe we can do both. You can pick up the cards of yours, Eugenics Oracle.
Yours also there? Or
and also I have to tell you something that I also thought to call mine the Yoginis Oracle, but you publish it first, and then I say what I can do. Then only to add Irapur.
But it's true that your oracle is more related with the beautiful, amazing Yoginis of Hirapur, that they are really amazing, and the beauty is, and the beauty you capture in those drawings is amazing. It was meant to honor that temple.
And I think that the main characteristic of the two decks is that Yoginis Oracle brings Yogini from all over the temple, right? You took just and then put together in one deck, while Yogini of Irapur Oracle, of course, is only Irapur.
But brings the knowledge of all over also.
Yes, so we can shuffle the cards and pick up one card.
One, and is this one.
Oh, this one.
Oh, beautiful.
Katana.
Yeah, and here is the knowledge. The knowledge that you don't get through books, you get through experience. And being a cow, that I draw this one as a cow, the cow has all these, the horns of a cow is very feminine. It's like the womb. And with the trident, the book is here, and here is another bull, another cow. So is this the experience knowledge? And yours is what?
So this is Vikatanana has a bird face. So as you said before, you like the Yogini with the animal face. So she has a bird face. A very calm and strange air. So she has a cat as Vahana. Vikatanana is the one who is calling all the human being all together. She's the one who harmonized everything. She's one who can bring by hands everybody and everybody to everybody. It's like really a big the love of the humanity who come all together with the feeling of love, with the feeling of compassion, and with a feeling of sisterhood and brotherhood.
Perfect for the situation. So knowledge, empirical knowledge, the knowledge that comes from experience, and the sharing.
The love brings all the human beings all together.
So perfect for this.
So the perfect one. Yes.
So, really. Ciao, bellissima.
Grazie, Stella Dupuis. And this is a very nice conversation also because no one of us, English doesn't belong to us. as you speak Spanish, I speak Italian, but so people who will listen and watching this interview will apologize us for our English, but I think the energy of Yogini can help the people and to communicate and to share our conversation with others.
So thank you very much. It was so nice to see you from Delhi. Oh, I miss Delhi so much.